And I'm just going to show you how easy these are to use. So let's just go down here and I'll just pick these last 4, drag them here into After Effects and arrange them like so. And the trick to these is the transfer modes. And like I said, this works in Premiere Pro or most nonlinear systems as well. We just start playing around with the transfer modes. One thing to mention is that you're going to see here the bounding box, the transform box, is well outside of our composition. This composition is 1920 by 1080. It is an HD composition. So if you're working in HD, these files are 4K files. You're going to see up in here it's 3840 by 2160. So you have room to work. So that means if I shut these off, I can scale this all the way down to 50%, and that's going to completely fill the screen. So if you want to shrink them down to 50%, if you want to use them up to 100%, that's the advantage when working in HD, is that at 100%, you have a lot more room to kind of position these around, get a different look, that kind of thing. So I'll go ahead and reset this. And like I said, the trick here is to use transfer modes. So I'm going to turn these back on, and let's just make this top one, and let's just make it color burn. Okay, there's color burn. This next one, let's try screen. And this bottom one, let's try overlay. And the very bottom one is just set to normal. So if I preview this, you're going to see what it looks like here. And, just by changing the transfer modes, like I said, you're going to get a completely different look. So if I preview this here, that looks very analog-like. And what I'm doing here is I'm combining these elements into entirely new elements. And that's what's so great about this pack, is that you can use one element if you want to, or you can use multiple elements if you want to. So to show you, kind of jumping around here, but let's just show you like over footage, right? So if we have, let's say we have a 3D render here, and this is our 3D render, and we want to drop in an element on top of it. I've dropped in glitch 5, I've set it to screen, and you can see what it looks like here. So this is set to 100% scale. We could quickly drop this down to something like 55%, and you can see more information on the screen. Take it back up to 100%. I could also turn on this glitch 6. It's set to a hard mix. And you can see here it completely changed the look of this piece again. Now it's very, very analog looking, very digital, retro looking. Very cool look. I could change this from hard light to something like overlay. And I could turn off the screen mode here, and I've just got this simple box going on. So one trick here is, I'm on a Mac, but if I hold down Shift plus, you're going to see right here on the overlay, watch what happens. Now it's soft light. Shift plus again is hard light. Completely different look. Shift plus again, linear light. I can hit Shift minus to go back to hard light, or to Shift minus again to go back to soft light. So I'm going to go Shift plus, Shift plus, Shift plus. Pen light's pretty interesting. Here's a hard mix. Again, I'm just holding down Shift plus. Difference is really nice. Exclusion, subtract, divide. That's really interesting as well. So let me turn off these. Let's try a different piece of footage here. This is our retro space. And again, I've got this first one set to, what is that set to? It's set to classic difference. Gives it a really interesting green vibe there. And what I've done here is I've duplicated the layer and drug it up here so that we can essentially have a loop going on here. So now we've got the footage looping. We've got the graphics looping over our footage. It looks really nice. Again, I could select both of these and change them to something like soft light, or I could change them to screen, or I could change them to exclusion. Totally different looks. Here I've got a pre-rendered retro background, And this analog glitch 10 is on top of it, set to hard light. And you can see there, that's really cool. Completely changes the look of this piece. And here's the analog element by itself. Again, this is set to 100% scale. And with the footage, it's a really interesting piece without the analog look and with. Again, I could scale this down to something like 50%. And again, that's a really interesting look as well. So jumping back into layering here, let me just finish doing this. So I'll turn on overlay here. So now we've got 70 and 69 working together. You know, that's a pretty cool look. I could try a screen. Go back to overlay. I kind of like that. It makes the circle, the ring, a little more subtle. Turn on 68. It's set to screen. Yeah, and that really kind of takes over. So maybe we'll try lighten. Or maybe we'll leave it to screen and we'll hit T for transparency and maybe drop it to 50% opacity. Or maybe we'll go back up. And I like to just play around. Maybe change that one to overlay. Maybe change this one to screen. That's pretty cool. I really dig that. And then our last layer here is Analog Glitch 67. I've got it set to color burn. And that's a really interesting analog look. Try a screen on this one. And you can see how quick it is to work with these. Maybe try difference. And I'm just on a simple iMac computer here, nothing fancy. No crazy GPU. Maybe try something like a hard light. Not a big fan of that one. Maybe a multiply. You know, something you could try here is multiply, go to effect, channel, invert. And that completely changes the look of it. So there you go. There's how to use the footage, the elements in After Effects. And just to show you really quickly, here I am in Premiere Pro. Here's my two folders. I'm just going to select both folders. I'm going to click import. It's going to import all these files. And again, you can see here they are. There's 36 through 70. And here's 1 through 35. Works exactly the same way. I'm just going to drag this onto my timeline here. And we can see there's one glitch. Maybe take this one on top here. And I just select it, go up to Effect Controls. And right here is your blending mode. It's set to normal by default. And you just start playing around. Maybe try a screen. And I'll set my in and out points here. And I'm just going to set this to loop. Yeah, and that's pretty cool. Maybe try setting this to something like color dodge. And this works exactly the same way if I wanted to bring in some pre-rendered footage, some graphics, something like that, and lay these glitches on top of that. This would be great for something like a music video, for on-screen LED systems, you name it. This glitch pack is going to make it, make your stuff more analog, more interesting. That's going to wrap up this quick tutorial on how to use the elements. Next tutorial is going to be about how to customize the colors.